this video, I'm showing off a miniature which I have purchased before and showed off in other videos. This is just another one I have. It's now number 5 of this miniature that we're going to go with. It is a Dragon King miniature for the Dark Sun campaign of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, made by Ral Partha back in the 90s. It's a miniature that's pretty much dear to me, if I may say so. It's one that a friend of mine had when he introduced me to basics of D&D and the miniatures he had it on the shelf. It stood out to me. I just love the look of it, love the pose and all that. Not a perfect one, has a tendency to tip back and forth, but despite the flaws, I still love it all the same. Now, for those of you who don't know, Dark Sun is a campaign setting where it's basically to summarize it, take a Dungeons & Dragons world and put it through an apocalypse through destructive magic instead of nuclear bombs. And it's a very savage world, very cruel, very hard to live by. There are many videos out there that can give you a good, thorough history and description of what Dark Sun is like, so you could look those up. And so, but they made miniatures back in the day and from Ral Partha, and I have some of them. I have the People to Land. I bought this particular miniature I'm going to show off through blister packs or the box sets. So I just want to show it a different paint scheme, which I debated the last time painting. I decided to paint it blue. This time I'm going to go the other option here. It's actually based on an illustration that of one of the dragons that they showed in one of Dark Sun supplements. To find out more about the dragons of Dark Sun, bear in mind they are not natural born creatures. These are mages that have advanced in both being a mage and a psionicist, psychic powers, that once they reach level 20, they are now with the option of advancing further to level 30, and as they go level by level, if they perform the ritual correctly and meet all the requirements, they will go one step towards metamorphosing into a dragon. And these are Defiler mages. Defiler mages are those that are more malign, power-hungry types that don't care about the environment. They're pretty destructive in their magic. Now, there's another type of mage called Preservers that when they go through that same period, once you reach level 20, they could take another route, and these are more or less the good guys, by changing into Avangians. So there's total opposites there. To find out more about this, you can look up this book right here, Dark Sun's Dragon Kings. This is a source book that tells what you could do with your characters or make characters that are from 20 to 30. Not only for mages, but if you're a cleric and you reach level 20, what can you do beyond that? Most of if you meet the requirements, you could transform yourself into an elemental. There are no gods in Dark Sun. So clerics worship the elements, earth, wind, fire, and water. So when they reach level 20, they could change themselves into elementals. But those miniatures are easy to find for anywhere. But also it tells you what you could do as a fighter. Instead of a fighter going around caravans or going off in minor adventures, they start gaining popularity, they start running armies. And it's just a source book that tells more about the world of Dark Sun, particularly what your characters beyond level 20 can do in all different classes. So you can find this on Archive. So go there, look up Dark Sun Dragon Kings. You can find a PDF of that. Tells you everything in case you don't want to deal with a physical copy. And I think these books are not expensive online. They're pretty common. So take your pick there. But I digress a bit. So in this video, I'm going to show you off to my current paint job for this miniature, and I'll show you how I got it through. The condition is in eBay. Thankfully, it's not out of the package in a sealed container. No, but it is complete, and I will show you what it looked like when I got it, and what I had to do to prep it. Almost lost a part of it. I'll get to that shortly, and I'll show you the finished results. This is a picture from eBay of the miniature I purchased. It was glued to a plastic base. It was already pre-painted, but I was going to take all that off for my repaint job. There was a little bit of repair work. He tried to use some green putty on the shoulder there where the arm's attached, but it didn't really need it. The only minor repair work that I thought was really needed was over at the belt region in the back, where some of it was chipped off. A little milliput takes care of that, no problem. So I took this miniature, and as you can see, it's glued to a plastic base. I should have pried that off before I tried cleaning it, but I didn't think about that. It's probably a good idea if you ever buy this miniature to put it on a wider base when you're finished with it, because it is very tall and very thin, so it'll tilt to the left or right very easily. So to prevent any damage of breaking of it, you want to put on a wider base when you're done. So with that said, I put the whole miniature into a solution that had paint thinner, acetone, and rubbing alcohol in it. And this helped. Over the course of a few days, I took some out, scrubbed it with a toothbrush and Q-tip, and got almost every scrap of paint off of it. There was nearly a disaster in this because, as I said, I put the whole miniature in, including the plastic base, which the acetone did dissolve it, as expected. But the left arm, that's the one that's not holding the staff, got mixed in with the plastic goop. And so one day I decided, okay, let's just take that stuff out since the base is gone, don't worry about it. And I threw it in the trash. Then I realized as I took the miniature out to clean of it, I was like, where's the arm? And then quick thought about that is I checked the trash. Thankfully I didn't take it out. I found the plastic, redissolved in the solution, and got the arm out. Whew. Close call there. But I did eventually get it all the pieces all cleaned up, as you can see here. And now I can put it together and paint it in the way I plan to. The inspiration for the paint scheme here is of this picture from the Dark Sun campaign. This is the Sorcerer King Nibene, a wizard who is partly through his transformation of becoming a dragon. As you see, he's mostly black with some purple highlights and all that, with little tan skin-colored areas here and there. Now, it's not going to be perfect because there are two different designs, but I found it very easy if I just take the miniature and prime it black, and then I dry brush white over it on the upper areas. Then I could use some quick paints, particularly purple, and to get the bases of that. And then over the course of little touches here and there to do what I want. And it turned out very well. So, with that said, here's some pictures of it before putting it together, and then we'll show you the finished results. Hope you enjoy. So here we go. Here are all the 5 the Dragon King miniatures from Ral Partha for the Dark Sun campaign of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So I think they turn out. I always enjoyed this miniature. It's a beautiful sculpt, but again, you might want to get wider bases to make sure they're less of a tipping hazard, and if you ever decide to play about this. But to give you an idea how big these miniatures are, let me show you some from the same range. Here we got Rikus, who's a famous mule gladiator from the campaign setting, so I'll just put it right here. It's on a 28mm scale, so yes, in addition to that, we'll put in Sidira, powerful sorcerer in the setting, and of course, and also a famous gladiator of Neva, based on the Brahm artwork that inspired the look of Dark Sun to begin with. So there you go. That's how tall the Dragon King miniature is, and compared to the 28mm miniatures that came with it. It's a very striking miniature. I always loved it. Great pose, wonderful standing presence, and so there you go. Thank you all for watching, and you have a nice day.